Queen Elizabeth's funeral plans set in place for decades. Detailed plans for the Queen's death have been meticulously planned and rehearsed for decades. Royal funerals have long been suffixed with the word bridge. This was the case for Diana, Princess of Wales in 1997, the Queen Mother in 2002, and the Duke of Edinburgh, who died on April 9 last year, aged 99. The details for Her Majesty's passing are known as Operation London Bridge. Security services and senior officials have known the plans, which have been regularly updated, for years. The Queen would have had a hand in its planning and preparations, but the final say on aspects of the funeral will be made by King Charles III, her son. A state funeral is expected to be held on Monday, September 19, and will be the biggest since Sir Winston Churchill's in January 1965. Plans made provision for the service to fall on the 10th day after her death, but because the official announcement came late on Thursday, this will be extended by 1 day. It will be held at Westminster Abbey, which can hold a congregation of 2,000. It is the venue where she married dashing sailor Philip in 1947 and where he pledged to be her liege man of life and limb at her coronation 70 years ago. A vast security operation is already underway, in anticipation of mourners flooding London, as well as a potential terror threat and widespread travel disruption. It is highly likely the capital will come to a complete standstill. It will fall to Prime Minister Liz Truss to meet the Queen's coffin, most likely at King's Cross. It will then proceed on a gun carriage to the Abbey, pulled by naval ratings, sailors, using ropes. Senior members of the royal family will follow, just as they did before the funeral of the Duke of Edinburgh. Every arm of the armed forces will be represented, not only in the procession but in lining the streets. Members of the public will be able to pay their respects as the Queen lies in state at Westminster Hall, beforehand. The service will be conducted by the Dean of Westminster, who officiated at Prince Philip's dedication service, and it will be attended by hundreds of heads of state, political leaders, European royals and other figures. It will be televised to a global audience of hundreds of millions and a national 2-minute silence will be observed. The Queen's coffin will then be taken to St. George's Chapel at Windsor Castle for a televised committal service. Her final resting place will be the King George VI Memorial Chapel where her mother and father are buried, along with the ashes of Princess Margaret. Philip's coffin will move from the royal vault to this chapel to join her. Royal for a televised committal service. Her final resting place will be the King George VI Memorial Chapel where her mother and father are buried, along with the ashes of Princess Margaret. Philip's coffin will move from the royal vault to this chapel to join her.